Know that this area um, is just so full of musicians, and any time that you can find a live musician, stop and listen.
The Discover Montcalm podcast is brought to you by WGLM 1063 FM, Be More Media, West Michigan Technology and Design Solutions, and DW Video. Welcome to the Discover Montcalm podcast, where we are going to look at the communities, the businesses, the attractions, and the people that make up Montcalm County. Here is your podcast host, Dwayne Weed.
Hello, and welcome to this edition of the Discover Montcalm podcast. I have Ken Crump here with me, a musician who does some open mics, and we're going to dive into a little bit about music and what exactly is an open mic night. But before we do, you can follow the Discover Montcalm podcast on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube, as well as going to the discovermontcalmpodcast.com, and you can check out all of our episodes up to that point. So, Ken, thank you for taking the long drive from Greenville all the way to Howard City, and we say that with a little bit of a joke. But you're fairly new to the area. Before we got started, your wife is from the Greenville area, but give us a little back history of where you grew up, where your wife grew up, and kind of your travels that led you back to Greenville.
Well, I tell people that I was raised in Michigan, but I grew up in Colorado. Because when in '79, my wife and I left Michigan and moved to Colorado and had a family and careers and lived there for 30 years. And then we moved to Arizona, where our daughter was having children, and nothing draws a grandmother like children. So we moved to Arizona. We stayed there for 12 years. And then we were disenchanted with Arizona, and my wife was looking to come back home and help her mother stay in her home for the rest of her life. So we came back here about 4 years ago, and we lived with her mother for 3 years.
So 2020, that time period?
Yeah, it was.
You came back right during the...
Yes, the pandemic was... we weren't on lockdown yet, but we were becoming aware that there was a problem.
Okay. So you came back to what is the hometown for your wife.
Her hometown.
Now, you said, where in Michigan did you grow up?
Well, we were in southwest Michigan, so
okay.
Kalamazoo, Comstock,
okay.
Stevensville, Bridgman. When we hit Michigan, Dad was in the Navy, and I was a Navy brat, and the concept of a hometown wasn't in my vocabulary. But so we moved a lot of small town places. I can see the power of a hometown in how it has opened up my wife since we've been back. We were just talking the other day that when she drives through town, I drive through town, we are seeing completely different things. Okay. I'm seeing the town that is in 21st century. She's seeing the town of the 1950s when she was growing up here.
Okay. Well, I guess we can all do that. I grew up in a small town, and I go through it, and I remember there was a whole lot more buildings around in that little small town that are not there today. So, I understand that. Okay, we got it. Okay, so I'm going to... 1, 2, can you say something?
I can say something.
Okay. All right, my first edit.
All right, we're not going to do a live cut. I can relax.
Yeah. Okay. I saw something, because this is new, I saw something, and it took me a minute to realize that what I was seeing was okay.
Yeah.
But I was stopping in case it wasn't.
Well, you're looking at me, and just,
because
that's scary.
I like your humor. We'll get along just fine. So we're small town. It's one of those things that, wherever you grew up, you kind of look back at your childhood and what it was like, and then as you said, you see it differently.
I see it much differently than she does.
So you're now back in Greenville. What is it? I know you came back for your mother-in-law.
Right. Yep.
But now that you're here, because you're fairly new,
I am.
what are some things that you like to discover about the Montcalm County area that you're going, I see it with these new eyes?
Yeah.
What are you seeing?
And we both do, actually, because she was born and raised in Greenville, but didn't really travel much of Michigan.
Okay.
And the same with me. We have been looking forward to, since we got here, being Michigan tourists.
Okay.
Being able to see all the things that we see on Under the Radar on PBS.
Yes.
I don't know if you watch that.
Yes,
show.
it's a cool show.
Love that. But it gives us great ideas of places that we can go, little day trips or even trips that take a couple of 3 days. So we're excited about being here. What I see in Montcalm County, what I didn't realize I missed is that middle class vibe that happens where we were living in Arizona existed because two highways intersected. So the town had 17,000 people. It had gas stations and fast food and a Walmart. What Greenville has done with a stable population of 8,000 people is absolutely amazing. The football stadium, for instance. Mm-hmm. Oh my goodness! And my understanding is that the citizens of the town, not the government, but the citizens built that. What I see them doing downtown to revitalize the downtown in Greenville is, I'm so impressed with the dedication that people have to this community, and it seems to be those middle class values. The Midwest middle class values seem to be running, be a through line through the whole area. I just love it here.
And what's nice about that is it generates out throughout the whole county.
It does.
And you talk about day trips, and that's one of the things about the Discover Montcalm podcast is that, I grew up in the town north of here in Morley. I've been here since 87 when my wife and I got married, and there's still a lot about this county that I know nothing about. So I'm kind of on my own little personal mission to discover people like you that, you may not have grown up here, but you're here and you're doing things. And the reason you came on today is you host an open mic.
I do.
And we were going to talk a little bit about music, which is near and dear to my heart.
Mine too.
Music to me is the best therapy I could ever come across. So I really enjoy that. So open mic, for those that may not be aware of what an open mic is, can you kind of give us the definition of what an open mic is?
Well, it's a venue for people to come and perform. And mine has kind of become an acoustic open mic, though we have the occasional electric guitar player, and everybody's welcome. We have the occasional poet that comes and does readings. But I'll tell you, when I started this open mic at Fruithaven, and I pitched the idea because I had heard that this area is fat with musicians. I mean, they're everywhere.
Yes.
This little town of 8,000, and by this I mean Greenville. This little town of 8,000 has the Danish band. It has its own little symphony. It has. There are so many musicians actually performing in this town, in Greenville, that they have to be somewhere. And the pandemic had thrown us all into our houses, and as far as I was concerned, nobody knew where anybody was.
Well, the one thing, and I know that you haven't been here long, this is happening all over the county. Howard City, for example.
Howard City has a great open mic on Thursday nights.
Thursday nights, but they have music in the parks. They have
Yes.
a music festival, a day-long festival. And there are music in the parks in Lakeview and Carson City and Crystal. And I'm sure that there's open mics in all of those. And I know that, from where you're looking, so for people that are listening or watching this, Ken is primarily in Greenville, but all you got to do is look around and you can discover music all over this county. So where are you now? Where are you at and when,
Right now we are at Flat River Brewing Company. When Fruithaven closed down, which they are rebuilding, we needed a new home, and Flat River embraced us immediately, and that's been so nice. And now we're performing outdoors, which is also very nice. They've got a nice patio area. So we're at Flat River Brewing. We're there every other Friday night.
You can check Flat River Brewing's social page. What is your social page?
Well, I'm on Facebook at.
We'll start with that. We'll have you start that part again.
All right. Tell me when.
As long as I'm not coughing over top of you. That's when we'll start. I'm trying to, if you can't tell, I'm over here trying not
I can tell.
Which is okay. So I just asked you about the socials, so if you can pick up with that.
All right. I'm on Facebook, and you can follow me on Facebook just by
what is
Ken Crump. Just my name, Ken Crump. It's a personal feed, and what you'll see there is announcements about open mics and when they're coming. So a couple of days before, I'll post the one that I'm doing, and I'll also post my our sister open mic, which runs on Sundays. So we are every other Friday. And the sister open mic that's run by Brian O'Brien, that's at Winter Inn, and it's every other Sunday. On the week that I'm not on Friday, he is on Sunday.
Okay.
And we just keep going back and forth like that. It's a great time. But you can find me on Facebook.
Okay. An open mic, people come in with their guitars.
Yes, they come in with their instruments.
You said yours is more acoustic.
Mine is more acoustic.
Okay,
yeah.
So fiddles or whatever, and they can get up. What is the format? Are they allowed one song, two songs? What do you normally do?
Normally, I have a sign-up list, and that kind of tells what the order is. Also gives me an idea how many people I'm going to have. We have 3 songs. Each person has 3 songs. I usually open the show, and then we roll from there. I usually have between 12 and 20 performers.
So it's a night of interesting entertainment.
It is.
Because the one thing about open mics, for those that don't know, it's all skill level. It's the beginners.
Yes.
It's
absolutely.
If you just learned how to play and pluck some notes, come on out, because there's no better feeling than to be able to perform music live.
We have a woman who came in who, before she did the open mic with us, she had only played in front of her dog. What a leap. How much courage does it take? And all of us who perform know that. And we are we're
supportive.
So supportive. Supportive.
I mean, there's times I've been to these and you're going, okay, they're going to get better. and I don't mean that to be negative.
Yeah,
but
yes,
to be able to get up there and to just do it
Yes,
is an
yes.
important part.
That's absolutely an important part, and there's no age limit to it. We have a kid that started with us when he was 10 years old, and he's done the he has grown in it. He's 11 now. We had a girl who started. She did her first performance this past show. She just turned 17. And she did 3 songs, one on piano, one on guitar, and one on ukulele. Absolutely exciting. Exciting to see that.
Being a musician myself, I know that, there's no better feeling than to perform.
Exactly
and,
right.
To have that kind of musical talent, to be multi-instrumental,
amazing,
is like, oh my goodness, I play drums. If I could go back and tell my 15-year-old self, I would have said, learn a little keyboard, understand a little bit more, but I'm not 15. I may act it once in a while, but I'm, so that's not going to happen. So as the host of this open mic at the Flat River Brewing Company, I'm sure you get to see all types, and you probably have a core of regulars.
Yes, we do. It may have started as a core. Now it's a community. It's a community of people that support each other. We even have a message thread group on Facebook, just us. We call it Seniors Gone Wild, and keep in touch with each other that way. When we don't have open mics, there may be a week where you don't have an open mic, and then we find ourselves at somebody's house performing, doing the same thing. So it's a wonderful, wonderful community.
Well, and music has a tendency to cut down all types of barriers.
It does.
And what's nice about the open mics is that you get an opportunity to go out and share a little of who. Now, being a drummer, I'm looking for more of the open mics that have some guitars and some keys and some drums.
We have Dave come with his cajon, and he comes every session, and he will play with anyone who says, "Hey, Dave, come and play."
Yeah. And but there again, the bottom line is it's music. It's a chance
it is.
for, and it's open to anybody.
It is.
Now,
absolutely.
If you said that you work off a list.
I do.
I look at Santa and going, oh, there's my list. No, but actually, the list is people have to get there, sign up,
yep.
And then the list becomes the order that you're performing. What time? You said it's every other Friday.
Every other Friday.
What time does it start?
6 o'clock.
And typically goes?
9:30 or 10.
Okay. I guess as long as there's people there.
That's my rule. If there are people there to play, they're going to play.
And I'm sure the establishment likes it.
I think they do.
Yeah. Well,
I think they do.
It gets people in the door that may not have come in the door.
Friday nights had been a little slow. And,
and
every other Friday night we fill the place up, and it's just a nice bunch of people. And Don and Linda at the Flat River Brewing Company have completely embraced us, and they're listening almost every open mic. They just love it all, and that helps so much.
For the people that are listening and watching, you don't have to play an instrument to go and be part of it. You can go and just be an audience member and clap your feet.
Please clap your feet.
Let's clap our hands. Let's see if we're offbeat.
It is absolutely true. When I made my first pitch to Fruithaven, there were a lot of questions that had to be answered about what an open mic was. Mm-hmm. And one of the questions was, do people audition? Can we audition these performers? And I said, absolutely not. Absolutely not.
And that, it's the community, it's the support.
It's the open part. It's open to anyone. And what I want to develop and what we have developed is a place for seasoned musicians to try new equipment, to try new songs, to try new techniques. I imagine my son and I are great fans of stand-up, and he lives in L.A., so he goes to open mics where they do stand-up comedy, and they're working on material. So not only do you get a chance to enjoy the performance, but you also get a chance to see it before it's all buffed and shiny.
Right.
And we are the same way. Coming up, even if I've been playing for a very long time, I'll come up and just stink the place up. And they're all very understanding, and that allows them to do the same thing. I've been thinking I want to try this song. I'm going to try it out on you guys. Tell me what you think. Or
Sure.
I've remodeled this song. What do you think of it?
Well, asking a musician what they think is a pit that just swirls and swirls and swirls.
That is true.
And because it's like art in any form. It's just an opinion.
Yes.
You may say, "What do you think?" and I may hear it and go, "Oh, it sounds like nails on a chalkboard," where the person sitting right next to me thought that was the best melody
yes.
of their life, and you did a wonderful job. So it's kind of a dangerous thing to ask, what do you think about this next song?
I think I have never... I'll ask that. I'll say that.
Well, yeah.
Tell me what you think. I don't want you to tell me what you think.
I really don't want you to tell me.
I just want you to
clap. Yeah. But that's the beauty of this. So, again, to find you on Facebook.
On Facebook under Ken Crump.
And spell that.
CRUMP. First name is Ken.
Okay.
And that's where I live right now.
And you're not only posting where you're going to be, you're also starting to post some other places.
That's right.
In Greenville, the Flat River Brewing Company, Winter's Inn. I'm sure there's others around Greenville. And then just for those out there, venture out. Howard City has one every Thursday.
Every Thursday. And it's awesome. And they're outside now, too.
Yeah.
It's a very nice venue.
Unless the last couple weeks, Mother Nature has been forcing them into the Pizza Cafe. Yeah. So, but that's okay because there's a venue inside.
Yes.
That's where they're at during the winter.
Yep.
So this is, for Howard City, it's every Thursday night.
Yes, it
year
is.
round.
Most often hosted by Mark Swanson, who's an amazing musician.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah, it's fun, to see that. And sometimes I'm on my bike ride, I'll swing in and I'll stop, take a little rest, listen while things are going before going out. So, is there anything? I mean, we talked about music, we talked about growing up and what you like, kind of being a new person back into the Montcalm County area.
Right.
Anything that you'd like to leave us on with music or anything that I haven't talked about?
Oh, geez, it's a big topic. Just know that this area is just so full of musicians, and any time that you can find a live musician, stop and listen.
Yes.
Because it's always worthwhile for the musician as well as for you. So grab your BFF, head down to wherever you can find, and just enjoy an evening of music.
You can follow the Discover Montcalm podcast on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube, as well as discovermontcalmpodcast.com. Check out all the episodes. We're over 90 episodes. We're coming into 100 in August. Wow, I can't believe I've been discovering Montcalm for this many episodes. But check us out. If you've got an idea, whether it's music or business, or you've lived here all your life and you just like to share what it's like growing up in this community, reach out to me at 231-250-0960. 9624. My name's Dwayne. I'm the host and producer. Thank you for listening to this edition of the Discover Montcalm podcast. And remember to buy and shop locally.
The Discover Montcalm podcast is produced by content creator Dwayne Weed, celebrating 40 years at DW Video and Multimedia LLC at dwvideo.com or call 231-250-9624. Connect and follow the Discover Montcalm podcast on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Check out all our episodes at discovermontcalmpodcast.com. We look forward to featuring your business, community, nonprofit, events, and more. Contact Dwayne at 231-250-9624, 231-250-9624. Thank you for tuning in and following the Discover Montcalm podcast.